Alright guys, quick Zerg versus Zerg game. Best of one, Turbo Cruise. I always get put on Turbo Cruise because I don't have map preferences. So I might have to start putting a map preference down just so I don't have to play this over and over again, but for now, let's go. It's actually a very short rush distance, which turns into a medium to long one, I guess, because of the slow fields.
Good luck, have fun.
But like natural to natural is not far, right? So I don't actually know how long it takes to get across. Either way, playing against someone who's a bit better than us, I think the best way, of course, to try and mitigate that is to play very aggressive. Give myself a clear game plan. We're on the AU server, which is very nice of him to host it here. I would have been happy to play Singapore, but if he's hosted up Australia, didn't even ask. Guess he's used to people forcing the non-ideal server for him, which is, I don't know, man. Alright, we're gonna go hatch gas pool. So yeah, we're gonna go for a big old baneling pressure. Hopefully he's still a bit tilted from losing Challenger last night. Fingers crossed, he's not feeling too confident. So we're gonna put 3 on gas straight away. Just to make sure our link speed is gonna be as quick as possible. So I can give you some good tempo with the early Ling Bane setup. Get your Lings nicely positioned close to their base, that sort of stuff. It's not a big deal. He still might have faster Ling speed than me. We'll see how it goes. Standard, Queen, 4 Lings. He's gone pool first, so he might be doing a gasless build. Very good chance of that, in fact.
A new queen has emerged.
Oh, he's doing a dumbass build. Is he that unconfident? Or... Oh, no, it's not a dumbass, actually. Never mind.
Our forces are under attack.
Evolution. Your forces are taking damage.
You're engaging the opponent.
Why is he still in 2 base? It's kind of odd, hey? So I don't need to all in here or anything like that.
Your forces are under attack.
Got him. Decisive build order. It wasn't a dumbass build. I almost misread it. And I was like, wait a second, no, it was pool first. So it was a gas pool opening. And my build was very good against it. And he was trying to go up 2 meters, I believe. But he was just behind in the Ling Bane skirmishes because I was able to take the momentum. So was he building a Spire before he left that game or before my push came? Let's take a look. He might have been. Might have tried to cancel it to survive though. No, he was just up on drones, like really up on drones, but he hadn't secured a 3rd, so 48 drones was like super high here, but he had +1, he had a lair finished, all these things I'd skipped on, and he didn't have any scouting in the midst of it, so he played an okay game, but yeah, not having a 3rd means even in a macro game, he definitely wouldn't have been securing any edge there. So his opening was a 17 gas, 17 pool, 18 hatch. And this is a good opening to skill check someone because you're very safe against a cheese, right? Pull first, but you also get a really fast Ling Bane. So you can basically take the fight to them with a fast Baneling pressure, usually off 19 drones. Now the problem here is he didn't commit to it properly. So he doesn't actually really use the fast Ling speed as quick and as decisively as he could. So for this build, I will always commit to that 19 drone, Ling Bane pressure, and then drone hard behind it. He does like the very soft version of it where the Baneling nest is not quite as fast. He's pulled 2 workers off and he just does a light sort of 11 worker pressure. This isn't necessarily wrong. But what ends up happening here is I get my 3rd up and he's unable to cancel that. And we're at the same sort of work account and then he's droning up really hard. But I was planning to do my own 24 drone big Ling Bane pressure into a Roach Bane timing attack. I was basically going back to my classic Zerg vs Zerg aggression is the key guide. So for anyone who doesn't know, there's 3 videos up for those. Stage 1, Stage 2, Stage 3 on my YouTube. If you just Google PiG ZvZ aggression is the key. There's a 3-stage guide. Stage 1 is this Ling Bane, which when you're first learning it, you basically just go all in and you never stop rallying Ling Bane. Once you get good enough at it, you learn to, at some point, add a 2nd gas, squeeze in a round of drones. You see I'm doing that at this point. Add a Roach Horn, and then go for a big Roach Bane, which is what I ended up all-inning with here. And stage 3 is learning how to basically only build those roaches when needed defensively and otherwise tech up to the next stage and play a macro game. But you kind of learn it through aggressive skill checks and aggressive pressures that force your opponent to be honest and kill them if they're too greedy. So that's what's really effective about this build, is it teaches you the powers of aggression in Zerg vs Zerg, and yeah, and it works out really well, especially, like I said at the start, with the ping advantage. That makes a big difference. We see here, he's built 4 queens, and if I kept committing with the banelings, he would have been able to do a gigantic counter pressure, but I just kind of pinned him back with a similar number of units, plus he had queens on the defense. And then you're going to notice I took a 3rd gas because I was spending a lot of gas on banelings, so I was like, oh, I might need a 3rd one in this scenario. And I basically just went, okay, 3 gases, not quite full mineral saturation, plus, so only 36 drones total, and I made a lot of roaches. I think it was like 12 in total. Yeah, 12 roaches in total, and then just rallied mass speedlings with it. And I kept just trying to keep up pressure and keep him distracted, and it wasn't until these lings came in that he goes, oh, crap. So he should have been able to scout this earlier if he was more active with his Zerglings. He could have seen no drones on the 3rd. He would have seen not that many workers, no Evo chamber, no lair. All big tells that I'm not going up the tech tree. I'm not adding to my economy. Therefore, I must be investing in army. And if he knew that, he would have stopped 5 or 6 drones less. He'd already be building roaches earlier. And these spines also probably would have been up earlier as well. I was a little bit unsure of where to blow up my banelings when this fight happened. So if you look at it, I'm like, ugh, and then I was like, oh, click on that, I guess. And I did end up taking, you know, 2 of the spines out and a lot of his morphing banes. But I was like, I'm not sure if that was the best trade. And it was a real shame. I accidentally misdetonated this last baneling, which would have been huge. If I let that baneling get into the center of those drones, it would have gotten rid of like a couple hundred hit points for a single baneling. As it was, it hit like a roach and a queen, which is 20 damage to each, as opposed to 35 damage to like 15 drones. 35 times 15, like 450, right? Something like that. For about 500? Yeah, almost 500. So a ton of hit points, extra damage could have been done there. But yeah, we surprised him. It was pretty all in. We did build a big round of drones that were going to my 3rd behind this, and we're adding a lair. We're going to drop an Evo chamber, but we needed to do big damage because my tech was way behind. Awesome. Since I was containing him, what if he tried to Nidus me? He was on Ling Bane tech, so he can't Nidus because he doesn't have the gas for it. So, even, you know, I wasn't really containing him. Containing is a very vague term that doesn't mean a lot, and I try to steer people away from it, especially when they're newer to the game, because, like, you're kind of... It's like it doesn't have a very firm thing that it achieves, right? So, contain doesn't mean that much, right? The thing is, I'm literally doing a very aggressive attack, which ended up not being able to break in, but was able to just kind of hang out and keep on some pressure, which is not really achieving that much. Just keeping on a bit of pressure. Because I'm going straight into a big roach attack afterwards, like, he's dead. If he tries to Nidus me, he's going to be popping a Nidus into a base of a player who's popping out a ton of roaches, so it's not going to work out for him at all. The timings don't line up, because he's investing in a lot of Ling Bane tech. There's no way he could afford a Nidus to be up until the moment where I'm kind of wanting to fight, because I've invested in so much army anyway. So yeah, I'm naturally... If you're attacking your opponent, you don't need to be worried about them attacking you generally. Because you're already committing to army. They want to commit to army. Worst things worst, probably cancels out, right? GG's.